Well, hey, handy people, Dan here. Hey, I've done a lot of firsts to this car, and put a limited slip in the transmission. That was a first for me to do that. I put the front wheel drive rear suspension mod on this thing. I put different subframes. I did a lot of different things. One of the things I also did was I put an improved stereo system, which I'm very pleased with. So let me show you how I built the speaker housing and what I did. So come on. So I got some nice glow shift gauges. I got to change the colors on, but this is the stereo. It's a Sony single DIN head unit, 4x100 amp, and it's got some really good ratings. It's an older unit, but it sure works well. The music sounds good, and then connected underneath the passenger seat, you can see the amp right here. And then the wiring goes off to the side, and I've actually blocked off this heater port because I didn't want to dump it on the amp, and I didn't think that was good for anything. So yep, just got her mounted under there. It's just a small Alpine. It's 600 watt, but I've got it running 300 watt and 4 ohms right now, and she sounds really good. Yeah, this is the amp that I put in. And I used this wire, the original wire I had in to run from the amp to the speaker, to the subwoofer, was too thin. So I swapped it out. I got this 12 gauge 2-wire, and that worked real well. You gotta love the big smiley boxes, right? Let's open this together and see what's in here. Oh, yeah. This is the Infinity Reference 1200S 12-inch subwoofer, and it's a low profile guy. And I'm my good friend Jason Turner, and I'll put a link to his channel. He came up with this system, and I'll show you a picture of his car. It's pretty cool, and I'm gonna copy shamelessly, because when I see something nice, I copy it. So looking at the reference data, technical data for this amazing subwoofer, it says sealed box volume, which includes the driver displacement, has to be 0.75 of a cubic foot. So a cubic foot, that equates to like 1,300 cubic inches. This 0.75 cubic foot equals 1,300 cubic inches. So now I've got to build a box that fits in this car that equates to that. So there's a couple parameters I'm looking at. One is I want to retain use of this tie down point. So I've got to be inside of that, which I am. I've got this wire here that's what I ran from the amp over. But I've got about 4 inches up front and about 2 5/8 back here. If I can squeeze most of that in, call it 3 inches nominal, and so I'll have 3 times The length is, say 26. Let's say 24 just to be safe. We'll call it 24. 3 times 24 times, and my depth will be, we'll call it a foot. Again, I'm going to be conservative, call it 1 foot. So 12. So 3 times 24 times 12 equals, and I'll give you that. So 3 inches, no good. 4 inches, 1152. Oh, just a little shy. Not great. 5 inches, plenty. So if I can go in 5 inches, I should be good. Now, to go 5 inches, I've either got to come out, which is doable, or I got to go back, which is also doable. Now, I prefer to keep the trunk space as is, but that means I've got to open this up, which I guess in for a penny, in for a pound. It's time to get cutting. Yikes. I'm a little nervous, but hey, what's the worst I can do? Wreck it? Have to get a new piece? I guess. So I made a determination that I was not going to take that back panel and cut it. I was going to see what I could do interior-wise as far as and what kind of sizing I could build. So I threw I had old 3/4 inch MDF board, which is excellent for speaker housings. I built speakers years ago. And so I had a piece of used MDF that was going to become my new speaker enclosure. And as you can see, I quickly made quick use of with a jigsaw and worked on fabricating up the pieces that are going to fabricate and become the piece. Now I played around with, I had an extra piece of the baseboard. So I did not use that piece of OEM baseboard. I decided to use the one that was in the car because a lot of it would be still showing. And so I continued to fabricate. Now you can see I'm starting to fabricate it. I'm using a Craig jig, which is a pocket hole screw setup, and I used it along with Tight Bond 2 wood glue. And as I assembled this, lots of pocket holes, lots of drilling, and lots of screws because I wanted it to be not rattling apart under the fact that it's in the car, and there's a lot of vibration with the car and then a lot of vibration with the subwoofer. You'll notice these, I ported the inner boards, inner framing boards, so that would allow me to have space on either side of those. Again, some additional spacing for and get close to that volume needed to achieve what's recommended as far as speaker volume. And I also discovered that I could put a polyfill stuffing in here, and that also effectively it increases the size, even though it doesn't change the size of the box, but from a sound perspective, it increases the size. It's really a cool little feature. Well, we made some headway. I'm pretty pleased. The main box is almost complete. I got this little wing piece to make. I'm gonna get my table saw out. I was trying to do it without it, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to. I still got a lid piece to cut, and I'm gonna have to get a piece of something different because I'm running out of MDF. I'll make a couple of more butts. I'll probably put a small one down at this far end, down in here. Sorry you're getting reflections, but yeah, I'll put a butt in there. And there, that's better. I'll butt that up so it's still got plenty of room, plenty of venting room. And I'm gonna fill it with polyfill. I just test fitted the subwoofer. Sorry I didn't show you that. It looks really good. So here's a little shot of the steering wheel. I did end up re-dyeing it, and I lightened it up a little bit, but it's a lot cleaner, and it doesn't look as bright as it does in the video. When it's in the car, it kind of blends in. It's a little bit darker than it looks as this, but I like it, so I guess that's all that matters. It's better than the dirty wheel. Back seat, you know, typical R. And then back here, I want to show you something. Oh, look at that. That's going on soon. That's from Nick Riley as well, from his part out of that V70R. And check that out. There's my 12-inch Infinity reference bass speaker, subwoofer, and I built a custom box for it. And the thing I like the best is it doesn't compromise hardly at all the compartment, your luggage compartment. Shout out to Jason Turner for this design. I copied shamelessly from. Yeah, Jason did it in his Saffron wagon, and I fell in love with it. I said, I got to do that. So this speaker grill is an Amazon deal, and it's metal, so I can throw stuff in the trunk without worrying about hurting the subwoofer. So I've got a little video coming that will show you that, how I built that box, and how I put that together. And here I am. Now this is the carpeting part. I actually bought carpeting. It's some outdoor, like a marine grade carpet that I bought that is gray. It's not quite as dark as the Volvo OEM gray, but it's close enough. And it, you know, obviously it doesn't have to match perfectly. I would have loved it if it did, but this was available at my local home center, so here it is. And basically what I do is I glue the side with that special glue that's a waterproof adhesive, and then I staple and cut and staple, cut and staple and trim and cut, and use the hammer to push any staples down that didn't go all the way in. And yeah, it's a pretty straightforward process. It's just tedious. And I did it to both the inside and the out, you know, to bring like the speaker round hole into being. I had to do the same work. And yeah, wrapped it around the corner and check the speaker, make sure it fits, and there we have it. Here you can see from external view of looking through the window at what I was doing. I was using some more screws to screw down the box. I made pocket hole spots to go vertically and horizontally, and put her in there nice and snug. Now we're stuffing the polyfill into the cavities in the box I just made. Well, I've been making, I should say. And it's amazing. You can shove this through a little hole. I used 3-inch holes to baffle this and create supports, and then drilled holes in the supports. But you can push this through the holes, and it kind of goes in pretty good, and it poofs out in behind. I guess this would have been easier to do had I not put the lid on, but you couldn't really, because of the way it's constructed. The lid had to be on before I do this. Yeah, and this stuff is nice. It's not itchy or anything. They make pillows and stuff out of it, so it's pretty benign. It's not like fiberglass at all. And although you can use fiberglass for this, so I wouldn't recommend it. So to make the effective box size larger without making it larger, if you stuff it with polyfill or another sound deadener, it actually acts like a bigger box. So it allows me to have this smaller box and hence still have lots of cargo space. So, yep, that's what's cool about it. Next up, I'm gonna trim this cord a little bit and match up some end connectors to fit those, and then yeah, I'm getting there. This thing's in, it's mounted, it looks pretty good. Color's off a little, it's a little lighter than the interior, but I like the look. I can't say I don't like the look. I mean, yeah, it's a sub inside the back of my wagon. So came out pretty good, and I followed Jason Turner's system and kind of copied what he did, although, you know, my own little twist to it. But yeah, and hopefully this will help you figure out how to get one of these guys into the back of your P80 wagons.